Let me know once you guys see my screen.
Yep, we can.
Okay, perfect. So, any questions from the previous session before I start? Okay, so I think we covered creating legal entity, number sequence, then went to GL module. We covered fiscal calendar and currency, right? So, moving on, the next topic that I want to cover is account structure. Now, when I say account structure, the account structure is also a global setup. So you can have one account structure that can be shared between multiple legal entities. Yeah. So, so, when it comes to account structure, so before I go to account structure, when you say the type of accounts that we have, so generally what the organization do, this our account structure would be created based on the main accounts that the organization is using. Okay, so sometimes if you're implementing, let's say if it's a new business, obviously you will have a discussion with client in order to discuss like what main accounts has to be implemented. But what if they already have the existing one, right? So sometimes you will change even though they have the existing one, but most of the time if they have existing one, we try to follow. So this is an information generally given by client. But to understand, so what we do in account structure ideally is we classify the main accounts into different categories. Like for example, we have assets, liability, expense, and income. So why I do this is because once I cover financial dimension, you will get a better understanding why I have classified this. So to give an example, so let's say I want to post some expenses. Okay, so if I am posting expense, I want to know to which department or to which cost center I'm spending those expenses, because not at just at the company level, but at each department level or each area wise, I want to know the breakup. I want to know what is the cost that I'm spending, what is the income I'm generating from each area. So that will give a bigger picture instead of looking overall at the company level, right? So in order to get this breakup, you would need different cost center or different departments to be connected. So that's why what we do. So I can segregate in this way so that wherever I want to see asset, let's say I don't want to see asset at area wise or cost center. So I am okay to see asset at the company wise because I don't have too many assets. So in that way, I don't need to have any dimension attached to the asset accounts. Whereas for income, I would need to add that. For expense, I would need to add that, right? So in order to give those breakup, we will segregate those main accounts. So that part we will see a little later. Okay. So now that I've segregated into like asset, liability, income, and expense. So this is generally how we do it. Majority of the organization will have done this way. But if you can also like keep asset and liability in one, income and expense in one, or expenses you can further divide into capex and operating expenses. Similarly, income also you can divide into. So it depends on organization how they want to do it, right? So some will have, let's say, manufacturing company. So asset liability they will club because they don't want to see much of that. But expense and income would be segregated. So some will have differentiated into four different categories. So whatever they want, they will have it. So that's the first thing. The next part is once you have this decided here, the asset, liability, income, and expense. So next you have to give a particular series. So why I give a series is because this is more of just to identify, as I told you, right? So it will be good to segregate this asset and liability. Similarly, when I'm assigning a number, for example, I will start asset with 1, liability I will start with 2, expense I will start with 3, and income I will start with 4. So when I say asset, I'll start with 1. See, if I can start with 1 and then I have to end at certain number, right? So if I start with 1, then the next number is 2, which go to liability. I can only create one asset here. So what I will do, I will add some 5 zeros. So let's say I will start with 10,000. Okay. So the first digit is anyway 1 only. And I will go till, let's say, 19,999. So this is a number that I want to use for asset. So you cannot have an overlapping number. So after 19,999, the next number is 20,000. So that's why I selected 20,000 here. Now you guys might wonder why I took 10,000. I can start like this also, from 1 to 10,000, and then it starts with 11,000, right? Or 11,000, the first digit is anyway still 1 only. Let's say 19,000. So I can definitely do this way also. But if you see here, the number of digit, if I start with 1, it's a single digit, then it goes for 2 digit, then it goes for 3 digit, it ends up with 5 digits, right? So you can see some inconsistency. Like not every main account has the same digits. So in order to avoid that, I started with 5 digit and end with 5 digits. So every main account I create will have a same digits. That's why I selected 10,000, nothing else. Okay. So here, 5 digits, 6 digits, 7 digits, it's up to client how they want to segregate. So whatever information you get from the client, that has to be updated. So next is expense. So I'm taking 30,000 here. It's 39,999. And similarly here, it should be 4,000 to 4,999. So this is how you segregate your account structure. So what is account structure, right? So account
Hello?
structure, yes,
Yeah, the account, the income is will be 4,000 or 40,000.
uh, it is 40,000. I have just added that number
Okay.
there. Okay. So this is how we add it. Now this is just a part of account structure. So I will complete the account structure later. So here what I have done in the account structure. So this is my main accounts. So we create main accounts rules, right? And then we will add one more here that completes the account structure. So we will come to what is account structure later, but this is how you segregate the main accounts. Okay, so I have taken four digit wise. Any question on this? Okay,
No.
so now that we have understood this account structure, so let's go to system and create this account structure. Again, account structure is a global form. So once you create account structure, it will just get created. So you need to assign it to your legal entity later. Okay. So let's go and create it. So go to general ledger, chart of accounts, structures, configure account structure. You can see advanced rules. This is we will cover later. So for now, you need to pick account structure. Okay, so as I told you, global form. So you can see a lot of account structure exist. So click new to create a new account structure. So let's say GL asset. So whatever name you guys want to give, you can add it. Main account should be yes and click create. Okay, so if you see someone has already used the EGL ID. So I need to kind of go back. Let's see if it took. Oh yeah, I don't know if someone used this. Who has created this? Not sure. I don't know who used this. Did any of you guys use this? Created here. One second, guys. Let me confirm. So I keep this legal entity for our session. I don't know if someone has already used this. Yes, someone has already started using my legal entity for transaction. I don't know who did this. Ravi, by any chance, did you use this company?
No, sir, I have created my own.
Okay. Not sure who used this. Okay. Now, anyway, if I start removing also, we will have problems. So let me create a new entity. Okay. Let me quickly create that. So let me check who did that later. I will reach to them.
Bharat, we do have the credential for this.
Sorry.
I think I don't have the credential for this environment. Can you provide me this?
You can reach me personally. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, guys. I don't know who used this actually. So, guys, please, once you get access, don't use the legal entity that I am doing because I will keep this for our practice purpose, right? So, you guys create your own legal entity, do whatever you want, no issues. So, we need to wait. So, let me quickly create this. So, what is the next step after number sequence? Does anyone remember that? So, number sequence is completed. So, what was the next step that we created?
That's fiscal calendar. Sorry,
So, we
set up
created.
GL modules. Sorry, it's set up GL module,
Um,
and then we go for the fiscal calendar.
Correct. So, we start with GL with fiscal calendar. So, let me start with September 1st. Great. So this is what we had done right till the previous session. And currency anyway it's already there, so we don't need to create anything. So now let's go for account structure. So to create account structure, go to general ledger module, chart of accounts, structures, then click on configure account structure. So click new. So as I told you, so if you guys observe this, so if there is a duplicate, then system will not allow you to create also. So only the unique values it will be allowed. Click add main account yes and click create. So here, so if you start, so sometimes if you observe the other legal entities, as I told you, the standard legal entities which is given by Microsoft, few places main account you will see the star mark. So when you see the star mark, that means all accounts. So it simply means all. You don't need to segregate anything. You just give this star mark by default it will give star. So any number you give in the main account, you can give one, you can give 10,000, whatever number you give, whatever digit, it will pick it for transaction. Because I'm just saying any, right? So it will pick everything, or you can say it says all. So this way also you can do. So that will not give a proper structure because you don't have, or you're not segregating main accounts, and you're not also having separate main accounts to assign different financial dimensions, which we'll see next, right? So in a very simple way, to get a proper breakup, it will be difficult if you use this particular option. But few organizations prefer that, and you will see this option being used as well, right? So let's remove that, and we will create our own. So that is 10,000 to 19,999. Now, if you observe here, 10,000, 90,000 is fine, but I have given two dots, right? So why two dots? When you enter these two dots, this is because this is a delimiter which is given by Microsoft, just standard option. So when you give two dots, system will consider from and to. So if with these two dots, system understands from 10,000 to 19,999. In case if you miss to give this dot, let's say you give one dot or no dot, system will consider this whole thing as one number. So it will not pick 10,000 or it will not pick 19,900 or any number between. It will consider the whole thing as one number, and you would have obviously created with 10,000. But here with this one, system will consider this as whole number, and you will not be able to post transaction. You will get error. So make sure you will enter two dots. That's very important. So to give the main account number sequence here. Once you decide this, then you have active from and active to. So this is basically if you want to activate account structure for a particular duration, only then you have to give those dates. If you don't want to give any dates and you want to use it throughout, leave this as blank. So ideally we will leave it as blank because you don't know when see, generally, you don't need to give dates for account structure because once you create account structure, we don't change it, right? So unless some major changes is happening in the organization, you obviously will change. But until and unless that, we will not change the account structure, and that's why you can leave it blank. Let's say after a year, you want to change the account structure, then you can give the date. Let's say as on today, I want to end, so you can give active to 30th September, and from tomorrow you can use the new account structure. And the new account structure changes will have a lot of impact, which we will cover later. Anyway, so that is when you will use the date, not until that. Okay. So once you create this, the other options we will cover later. So right now you can see the status, it is in draft mode. So by default, it will be in draft mode. So to activate, you can see this activate button on the top. So click activate. This will create a
Hello?
batch job. From the back
Hello?
end, it will activate its own. Yes. Yeah, I was, yes, Arun. Arun, you had a question? Guys, I'm not able to hear him. What about others? Can you guys hear him?
Yes, we can hear
No, sir.
you, but not him.
Okay, I think there is some issue with his internet.
Yeah,
Arun, you are not audible.
yeah, I have a question here.
Yes, but
Hello?
as I told, no, your voice is not clear, Arun. You can probably type your question, or you can try to check your network connection and rejoin. Okay, so let him come back. We will cover that. Meanwhile, let me create for the other three. So let's go for liability. So again, click new. So I will use E01 lab. Okay, description. Liability. Click create. So main account here and then activate. Okay, so click activate. So next is expense. So let me create one for expense as well. So click new. C01 expense. Arun, can you try now? Is Arun in the call, guys?
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
I think he's still able to. Okay. Others, you guys are clear? You guys have any question? Okay. So I have created the main accounts, or rather the rules for creating the main accounts. So after account structure, the next option that I want to create is chart accounts. I think I don't try to join. Okay, so let him join. I think he has some question. Yes, sir. Can you try now?
Yeah, it is audible now.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
so my question is just a simple question. Is it like once you select this accounting structure, you fix that deactivation date. After that, can we again use that particular accounting sequence like for 10,000 double dot 109 again next year?
Yes.
Or do
See.
we need to change the now?
No. So once this becomes deactivate, this
Mhm.
is not applicable to your legal entity anymore, right? So you can create a new account structure with the same number sequence. As I told you, it will not allow overlapping number. So let's say right now I have from 10,000 to 49,999. If I remove this, then I will have
Mm.
only from 20 to 49. So this number is free for me. So I can create a new account structure with this number and use it.
Okay.
Okay. But if you practically think, if I'm removing this, then obviously the reason would be I don't want this number sequence. That's the only reason why I would want to remove. So since I am removing this because I don't want this, no one again will create with the same number. Right? If you want with the same number, you can use the same existing one.
Okay.
You do not
Got
need
it.
to create a new one. Right? Yeah.
Got it.
Fine. So moving on, the next one is chart of accounts. So you guys are from finance background, right? So what is chart of accounts? Anyone?
So group of main accounts is known as chart of accounts.
Correct. So group of main account is known as chart of accounts. So basically, what is main accounts? So now you know the group of main accounts is chart of accounts. So what is main accounts? Anyone? What is main accounts? So I told main accounts
Mm,
here also. So you guys were quiet. So what is main accounts in that case? So let me add here. So chart of accounts is also global. So when I create chart of accounts, I have to connect that to my legal entity. So when I say main accounts, okay, can someone give
Bharat,
me?
are you sharing the screen?
Yes,
Hello, Bharat, are you sharing the screen?
yes, Arun, I am sharing the screen.
Sorry, I am not able to see. I mean,
Others,
my
you
internet
guys
is
are
also good.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, yeah, we're able to see the screen.
okay. Arun, I think let me reshare. So let's see if you can see, or else it should be an issue from your end.
Yep.
Okay. Can you confirm now if you can see the screen?
Mm,
Others, guys, can you see?
no.
Yeah, yeah, we can see.
Okay, Arun, I think it's an issue from your end. Try to check the network, please.
Okay.
Okay, so when I say main accounts, can someone give me random accounting entry? Any accounting entry related to expense or income, whatever entry you guys can get.
Me account is the designated account of a company.
Yeah, let me simplify things, right? Give me one accounting entry.
Like the
And
bank
any
account,
entry.
So transfer from bank account for petty cases.
bank account.
Okay, let's keep it simple one, no, like any expense or income.
Cash to insurance.
Okay, so let's say insurance. Let's consider this expense and cash. Okay, so these are the two accounts that I'm using. So when you're using this, posting the transaction, for this insurance, I will give one number. Let's say expense. So what is my expense series?
Insurance.
Correct. Insurance is an expense, right? As per my account structure, what should be the number series for expense?
Three.
3,000,
Usually.
This
30,000.
one, 30,000 to 39,999. So when I'm defining this, let's say I want to use this insurance expense for transaction. So what I will do, I will give it's a numeric value, a numerical representation of any expense or income, any value that you want to post is called as main account. So this we call it as main accounts in D365, right? So when you're posting transaction, we will use you will have a description where you will give name, but along with the name, from system perspective, see, name can be anything, right? So I cannot build logic based on the name. That is why you will have a number. So that number is where we build the logic from. So by using this account structure, when you give a chart of accounts number, it has to be within this bracket. Then system will apply whatever rules you have created for each category. Let's say you created insurance expense here, but you gave 10,000 for a system. Then what happens here? I will also select asset. Okay, I will give this name, but I will give this number. Now what system will consider? System will cannot apply expense logic for this because your number is not within this category. It is here, right? Then system will apply whatever rules you have built for the asset. So that's why whenever you're creating main account, the number is important. So it has to be within the created bracket. Now cash. So what type of account is cash? Is it an income or is it a liability?
Asset.
The cash is an asset. So what number you can give for asset? So what number should I create
So
for
one
cash?
deposit.
Right, it has to be here. So let's say 10,000. Now here also, you cannot have a duplicate number. So let's say for cash, if I use 10,000, for any other asset, if I give 10,000, system will throw error. So it will always be unique value. So you cannot have a duplicate. So in that way, you can have a proper logic being applied to main accounts whenever you create. So that's how you define the number. So account structure and chart of accounts is kind of interconnected, right? So whatever logic you build here, it has to be the same logic to create chart of accounts. Or first you can create chart of accounts, then you can create account structure. So either wise, both has to be synchronized. Okay. So now let's go and create chart of accounts. So to create chart of accounts, go to general ledger, chart of accounts, then accounts. Here you can see chart of accounts. So chart of accounts is also global form. So this is very important because when I have multiple companies like main company, parent company and subsidiary company, I will not be creating, multiple chart of accounts. Create just one chart of accounts, and under that I will create the main accounts, which I can share between all the legal entities. Okay. So there is also option that if you want to have a unique or a main account which is dedicated for a specific legal entity, though my chart of accounts is shared, that is also possible. Okay, so those scenarios we will discuss later. For now, let's see how chart of accounts is created, how main accounts is created under chart of accounts. So click new, give chart of accounts name, whatever name you want to give. Okay, then give the description, chart of accounts. Okay, save. So chart of accounts is basically just a name and description. But under chart of accounts, we are going to create all the main accounts. So this chart of accounts, I will connect to my legal entity. By default, all the main accounts created under this chart of accounts is connected to my legal entity. So each main account we will not link to my legal entity. So each main account by default is under the chart of accounts. Chart of accounts we will connect to my legal entity. Okay. So to create a new main account, click new. Now within this main account form, there are so many fields. Okay. So which we will explore one by one as and when we reach there. So you can see the star mark. This too is mandate. That is the number which you can see here and the name. So this too is mandatory in order to create it. So let's say 10,000. Let's pick this. You give the main account number, then you need to give the name. Another thing you guys can notice is the main account type. Okay, this is also important. The significance of this you guys will understand as and when we progress. So here you have different options. Directly select just P&L, or you have expense and income, balance sheet or asset and liability, equity, reporting, total, common. There are different options. So we will explore one by one as and when we cover the main accounts. So for now, this is a asset. So select the asset type and save. Another thing, if you observe, as and when you select the main account type, by default, the debit credit also gets updated. How this logic works. So you guys know trial balance. So what is trial balance? Anyone? What is trial balance? So this is all a simple accounting which we have studied during our educations, right? So everyone, I'm sure if you have done your accounting, you would have come across this trial balance. So what do you guys understand by trial balance?
So we use it to reconcile the credits and debits.
Correct. To use it to reconcile, it's fine. But what is trial balance? Anyone? Yeah, see, this and all like basics you guys should understand, right? This has nothing to do with D365. So when I say trial balance, it's basically consists of all the balances of the ledgers, right? Whatever ledgers you have, ledger or sub ledger, all the balances will be reflected in trial balance, whether it's income, expense, or asset or a liability. All of the balances will be updated in trial balance. So trial balance is going to be very important document for us, or a very important report for us. So if you want to see any balances financially, we will come to trial balance. So whatever value you want to match, let's say from vendor side, customer side, fixed asset side, or even inventory, if you want to check the values, we will always refer trial balance, because it's very important you guys understand the trial balance. So all the logic system will automatically pick the report of trial balance, also gets updated on its own, but you guys should know what is trial balance at least. So as I told you, there is asset, liability. That's why I segregated my main account into this four category, right? So expense and income. This is what you will see under trial balance. Now, do you guys know the logic? So will asset be debit or credit? Now, this is simple accounting rules now, right? Asset is debit or credit?
Will be debit.
Debit, sir.
Okay. What about
Debit.
liability?
Credit.
Credit.
Expense,
Debit.
right? And my income will be credited. So this is how the trial balance works, right? So this is an accounting logic which is built by the accounts. So now if you see from the system perspective, I selected main account type asset. So asset generally goes to debit. So you can see it is debit. Now if I select, let's say expense, it stays as a debit. But if I go to revenue, which is income, you can see it is changed to credit. So for this logic is already pre-built by system. So you don't need to worry. Whenever you select whatever type you want, system will take care of this. And this is important main account type from Mars Bespoke, because based on this only trial balance will reflect. Okay, so if you, let's say, select here as an expense, for example, system will consider that as an expense, both asset and expense on the debit side. So you will still see on the debit side and you think, okay, it's fine. But when you do year-end close, asset is treated differently, expenses is treated differently. Then you will have issues. So that's why whenever a main account is created, main account type has to be properly updated. That's also important. Now, having said this main account form, right, is generally taken care by the end user. See, initially, when we are doing the configuration, obviously it's our responsibility. We are going to take care of it. When I say going to take care of it, we are not going to decide what is required. Client is going to decide, but we will properly update it in the system. But once it start implemented and once the client start using, it becomes their responsibility to properly maintain this. Because when a new account is created, and generally keep happening, right, main accounts, not very frequently but sometimes do come up where they want to create a new main account. Now each time for main account they cannot reach to the support team. We will Implementation will not be there, at least support will be there. So reaching to support team also would not be feasible. So you will have one admin from their own side who has to take care of this thing. So it will generally be on their responsibility. But if this goes wrong, reporting will go wrong. So that's why that is the significance of this main account type. Then your main account category. This is not a mandatory one. If you want to use the standard reports, when I say standard report, we have few financial reports. Okay. So if you want to use those financial reports like your balance sheet or income statement, main account category is mandatory. And with the main account category, there are already predefined main account categories. You cannot add a new main account category. Whatever pre-build, you have to use that. So let's say for cash is, we will have something related to cash or asset. I think there should be a cash description. So let's use cash or cash equivalents. Let me use cash. Say, so this is mainly used for reporting purpose. Okay, and this is also used for reporting purpose, but this is for financial reports and this is for trial balance. So without this also you can post transaction, but you cannot go without main account type. So the other fields we will see later. So I created cash. Now let me create one more expense. You guys give another account. Let's say insurance expense. Let me select that here. Let's say give name. So this should be 30,000. And the main account type here, expense. So that is debit. And main account category. So we will select something related to expense. Okay, save. So these are the two main accounts that I have created, which we can use for posting a transaction. Any question so far? Now if I come back, you can see two main accounts being created with under this chart of accounts. Guys, any questions so far with whatever we have created? Now you guys are able to sync these two. How chart of accounts is defined, how expense is defined.
Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, this is Jeffrey. The information, the figure that you put in right here, will they be given to you by the company, or is it something that you're going to create yourself, or is something that is going to be given to you by the company?
Company has to give us. So this is a core accounting activity. So this is going to be decided by company and the information is going to be given by company. We are only updating here.
Okay.
Okay. See, we might suggest them based on our experience. They will definitely ask, can you suggest something which will help us? So that we will do, but the decision is taken by the company.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's create chart. Okay, we created chart of accounts and main accounts. Now if I come back here, so all the setup that we have done, right? the fiscal calendar, currency account, structure, chart accounts, none of this is connected to my legal entity because all of that is a global form. So how do you connect this to legal entity? That setup is ledger. So ledger is always legal entity specific. So you cannot share ledger between legal entities. You cannot create or delete a ledger. You cannot create new ledger or delete a ledger. You will have just one ledger by default, which is already created. You can only edit and modify things in that ledger. That's it. You cannot create or delete a ledger, and it's always specific to legal entity. So now here I'm going to connect all this setup to my ledger. So if you want to do that, go to general ledger, then ledger setup and ledger. So you can see GL, ledger setup, ledger. So once you go inside a ledger, so in this form, you can see here, you cannot create a new or you cannot delete it. All you can do is only edit and modify details within this ledger form. So click edit, and that is why when you come to this ledger, make sure you're in the right legal entity. So whichever legal entity here, the ledger is always connected to that legal entity. So make sure you're in the proper legal entity. For the other setup, even though you're in different legal entity, it's fine because it's anyway global form. So it doesn't make whether you're in this legal entity or any other legal entity. But for ledger, you should always be in the proper legal entity. Okay. So here, so chart of accounts. We just created chart of accounts. I think it was CE01, right? This is chart of accounts I've created. Assign chart of accounts. Assign fiscal calendar. So based on this only, my or the system will understand what is the fiscal calendar that it wants to use. So if you want to change fiscal calendar at a later stage, not just creating fiscal calendar, but you need to come here and reassign. Okay, so then you can see accounting currency. So we have understood the concept. Accounting currency is mandatory, reporting is optional. So you can see here for accounting, there's a red mark. So without this, you cannot save the ledger. Let's say if I click save, you will get error. It will not allow you to save because accounting currency is mandatory. And once you assign the accounting currency, you will not be able to make any changes. So that's another important thing. And reporting is an optional. If you want to, you can update. If you want to leave blank, you can leave blank. Let's pick accounting currency as USD, right? Save. Now you can save. And once you save, see right now you can see I still have an option to change. But once you start posting transaction, then your option of changing accounting currency will disappear. So you will not have an option to change. So chart of accounts, fiscal calendar, currency is assigned. Now let's assign the account structures as well. So click add. See. So this is the 4 accounts I have created. So expense. So if you see here, what system is saying, adding an account structure will require ledger dimension for any unposted documents to be synchronized. For example, you can create a transaction and leave it at that stage instead of posting. So when you change this account structure, those unposted transaction will also have impact. Now, in our case, we have not created any transaction. So initially, when you're creating, this will not make any sense to us. You can just go ahead. But in between, if you want to change the account structure, another important point when client comes up and say that I want to change my account structure, we need to clearly tell them whatever unposted transaction. For example, you created a purchase order. For that purchase order, you have not posted the transaction. So when you create a purchase order at that particular time, whatever logic you have built, your new account structure should be able to contain that, right? Otherwise, it will throw error. So your POs cannot be posted, your sales orders cannot be posted if there's a difference in logic. So this impact will be there if you make changes in between. So we need to inform client about that, and they have to be okay with it if they really want to change. So as I told you, changing account structure would be a significant change in the system. So it's not just a straightforward. So generally, we don't recommend until a business changes occur, and no one will do that also. Okay. So right now, you just click yes. There is no issue for us. Let me add the other account structure. expense, then write liability and income. So now if this numbers, any of this number have the overlapping series within that, then system will not allow to add. So right now everything is unique when we created account structure. That's why I was able to add. If there's overlapping numbers between this account structure, system will not allow to connect to legal entity. So with this, our basic setup is completed. So all the setup that's required to post a transaction is completed. Okay. So any question before we go to posting the transaction?
Yeah, my next question is for every legal entity, you will be creating a ledger for every legal entity. If let's say, for example, if you have a company that is operating in India, Russia, Bangladesh, and what have you, so you will be able to create a ledger for each of those entities.
Yes. As I told you, each entity will have its own ledger.
Okay.
So for this, let's say this is a US entity. So I created this ledger. Now you have one more in India. You create all the setup, you have to redo it. Like legal entity, you have to create, number sequence you have to do. Then you go to ledger. So when you go to ledger, you will already have this chart of accounts, fiscal calendar, account structure. You will assign. Only differ will be currency. Accounting currency will be INR instead of USD.
Okay.
Right. So the rest will remain as it is.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Now let's go for transaction. Now before I post a transaction, so there is something called as journal names. That journal name is required to post a transaction. So I will cover journal names later. So for now, I will just pick one journal name. Let's do the explanation later to understand what is that. So go to GL, journal setup, journal names. Okay, so I will cover this later. Let me quickly create one. So GL, action. I need to assign the voucher series also. Save. So this will become very important for us. So this voucher series is nothing but the number sequence, which you will understand. Okay. So now let's say I want to post transaction. So remember this step, guys. If you guys want to post transaction as of today, just create this one as the journal type daily and assign a random voucher series. You will be able to post transaction. So this explanation I will cover tomorrow. Okay. So now to post a transaction, go to general ledger, journal entries, journals. So this is where journal entries will be posted or GL transaction will be posted. So click new. The first option is to select the journal names. This is the previous I just created, the daily option, right? So that you have to create and select, then click on lines. So once you click on lines, you will enter a form where you can post transaction. So here you can see the transaction can be posted in different ways. When I say different ways, so let's say I can enter this on the debit side, $1,000, and I can enter this on the second line and enter the credit side. Or here I can select insurance, enter the amount on debit side. Okay. So we have offset account. Here I will select cash. So by default, system will consider this as credit. So you don't need to, you don't need to create multiple lines. Within the same line, I can select debit and credit also. So this will be debit, this will be credit. Okay. So like this, you can post in single line or you can post in multi lines. It's up to users how they want to post it. So generally, this is the easiest option because you don't need to enter amount on the credit manually. You will just select the account, enter the debit, select the offset account. System will auto calculate and add this to the credit side as well. So you don't need to enter the amount twice and you don't need to create two lines also. Okay. So however they want, they can use it. So for now, we will see the first option or the second option. So date. So by default, whichever date I am opening this form, that will become the current date here. This is the posting date. Okay. So if you want to change, you can change the posting dates as well. So I will keep as it is. The voucher number, as I told you, for every record that we create, either transaction or master data, system will assign a unique number. So this unique number comes from journal names. See, we created like hundreds of number sequence, right? So how does the system understand for this particular transaction, I need to pick this number sequence. So that setup is done in journal names, which we will see tomorrow. So you can see company code, whichever company code you have logged in, by default, that company code will come here. And remember, for that company code, I have already assigned chart of accounts. So that chart of accounts will come here. Excuse me. So that chart of accounts, whatever main accounts created under that chart of accounts will reflect here. See, there's a cash, there's a insurance, because under this particular chart of accounts, those are the two main accounts I have created. So if you change company code, for example, from CE01, so let's say I will go to Contoso. Now, if you see main accounts, whatever main accounts is added for this particular company's chart of accounts, that will come here, right? So let's come back to our legal entity. So let me select this. So now let's select our main account. Let's say I want to select insurance expense. So
Bharat, hello.
yes,
Would this account type make any difference? Like the
yes,
ledger? Yeah.
it does make a lot of difference. So for now, you can see ledger, keep as it is. So see, you can see what is the account types here. The next one is customer. If you select customer transaction has to be posted. This is for vendor transaction. This is for fixed assets. This is for bank. So each module we will cover. So then you will see how to use this. For now,
Okay.
for GL, it has to be ledger only.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have financial tag. This is a new concept which is launched. So you can basically, it's kind of a description. So you can see there's a description field here. This description has to be updated before posting transaction, but this financial tag can be updated after posting transaction also. So that's the difference between these two. So if you want to use it, you can use it. As of now, very few customers are using this because it's only a financial tag for reporting purpose. There is no functionality, additional functionality being used for this financial tags. So this one recently came up as an alternative to description. So if you want to give any description, let's say insurance posting, whatever you want to give, right? You can just type it. Now, insurance expense. If you want to debit, enter the amount on the debit side. If you want to credit, enter the amount on credit side. Now here, it's not necessary that I have to select insurance only. You can select cash also. It's your wish, right? If you want to select this insurance, then enter the amount on debit side. If you select cash, then enter the amount on credit side. However you want, you can do. So let's say I want to enter, let's say $500. Added the number. Now, as I told you, you can see once you update on the debit side, we have offset account type. This is again, I have selected whatever account type is there similar to that. For now, it will be ledger only. Select the offset account, that is the opposite side account. So I want cash. I don't need to enter the amount again. Just click save and see here debit 500, credit 500, automatically updated, right? So you can see account name, insurance expense, offset account is cash. So both you can see here and you can see the amount also. Now you can click on post. This will post your transaction. So once a transaction is posted, you can see there's a voucher option here. So click voucher. That is where you will be able to see the transaction. See, I can see insurance expense being debited. Okay. So another way of identifying the debit and credit is, so you can see this amount in transaction currency. Here you will see positive sign is debit, negative sign is credit. Next you can see there's an amount. This is always accounting currency. So here the left side would be debit and the right side would be credit, like our accounting logic. We always have debit and credit, right? So debit is on the left side, credit is on the right. See that logic here. Left side is the debit, right side is the credit. So that's how you can identify which is debit, which is credit. And posting type, so we posted using ledger, so you can see it is ledger journal. This is how you can read the transaction once it is posted. So with that, all the basic setup is completed and we are able to post the transaction. So if you are able to post this transaction successfully, that means all your basic setup is perfectly configured. Now, if I come back and refresh here, save. Okay, so let's go back. It's not updated. So once you come back and come to this form, you will not be able to make change to your currency as well. Just set a ledger. Now that if you click edit, you can see chart of accounts, you cannot change. Accounting currency, you cannot change. Reporting currency, you cannot change. Because once you start posting transaction, those changes cannot be done. So that completes your ledger setup. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thanks everyone. Please practice. Let's catch up tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.